What's up, Ram Nation? Welcome back to another edition of RamSports.net's Ram Talk. Alongside me, Ryan Keating, is my colleague Cameron Irvine, and today we have a special guest, head women's golf coach and associate athletic director Kevin Millikan. Kevin Millikan is entering his eighth season. Sorry, will be his ninth season as head women's golf coach, and it is also his 23rd year of service at Texas Wesleyan. He also serves the department as an associate athletic director after previously serving 7 years as athletic director and 10 seasons as head men's golf coach. As an athletic director, he had a tremendous 7 years. He was named Red River Athletic Conference Athletic Director of the Year for the 2009 and 10 school year. After 8 NAIA sports, posted an overall record of 150 and 94. The Rams excelled in conference play, posting a record of 82 and 28 and winning conference championships in baseball, men's basketball, men's golf, and softball, while 5 teams were ranked nationally in the top 25. He played on the Texas Wesleyan men's golf team. He served as an assistant for 2 years before taking over the head coaching position there. And now he is the women's golf coach and has built up an impressive resume since then. He was named the 2015 and 2018 Sooner Athletic Conference Coach of the Year and quickly turned the Texas Wesleyan women's golf program into a top 5 program. The Rams would have made 6 consecutive national championship appearances, including this year, and they have finished as high as 4th back in 2016. He has coached 7 All-Americans, 9 NAIA Scholar athletes, and the conference boasts already 4 conference players of the year and 3 freshman players of the year, the latest coming this year in Piper Frisbee. Coach, long resume, lots of accomplishments. How's it going today?
Going great. Thanks, Ryan. Good to see you guys.
I tried not to butcher it too much, and I know there was a lot we missed, but we'll go ahead and get to the questions.
Sure.
Coach, you know, the environment that we're in right now, you at your house, we're all at our respective houses. Talk about your opinion of what athletics will look like as we try to get back to normal sports lives.
It's really hard to say. It's very dependent on treatment, on if we come up with effective treatments. I do believe at some point we will return to normal ish. But I also think that it's going to be front and center in our minds, social distancing and hygiene and those types of things, and we're going to see the world a lot differently than we did before this all happened.
What type of culture do you try to build in the women's golf program, and does it translate from men's to women's, or is it different?
Actually, I've tried to emulate the experience that I had as a player and a coach on the men's team. There's a long history, a lot of alumni that stay very active and involved in following the team and its progress and helping with its fundraising and those types of things. So I talk about it as it's like being a part of a family. I always saw Coach Cornett, my golf coach. I always kind of saw him as an uncle that I never had. He taught me so many things about finance and home ownership and things that are completely different from sport. And so I try to instill that in my players and let them know that when they come and play at Texas Wesleyan and they join this team, that they're really joining a family, and that it's not just about the next 4 years. The years after that, helping them find a job, helping them if they have anything personal life need help with, those kind of things, that we're going to be there for them forever. So I really stress the family aspect of it.
What do you see as Texas Wesleyan's competitive advantage, or what sets Texas Wesleyan apart from other NAI institutions or institutions in general?
Well, I think obviously the location. Dallas Fort Worth is a great place to live and work and go to school. There's a lot of resources. When you get out of school, can whatever industry you're in, it's here in this area. And so that our size, the fact that we have small class sizes, that we have a lot of personal communication between faculty and coaches and players. I think it's that personal feel that really kind of gives us an advantage. And I also think that that's one of the things that maybe going forward after this immediate crisis passes, I think it's one of the things that Texas Wesleyan is best positioned, because we can offer a regular university type experience in a smaller community, but in a larger geographic area, if that makes sense. We can, if you're going to send your kid to a school with 2,500 kids versus 25,000. I think that gives us an advantage as well, because it's just a little bit smaller community and a lot more personal attention. If anybody has anything that they need help with, they'll be able to get it.
Coach, going back to this past season before it was cut short, you had 3 wins, 3 tournament wins, got the program up to 10 wins overall. 3 different players won individual champion or tournament wins, and the last 2 tournaments were wins. So you'd strung 2 consecutive tournaments together before everything came to a halt. Talk about the momentum that you were building, and how frustrating it is to just to stop when your program's going that strong.
Well, it was tough. It came at a really unfortunate time for us, and as you mentioned, we had we won the first 2 tournaments of the spring season. Emily Hunt won the first one individually, her first college win. Brooke Sullivan and Jolie Henderson winning, tying for first and getting their first college win in the second tournament. So we were approaching the meat of the schedule. We were going to start seeing a lot more nationally ranked teams as we progressed through the season, and I really felt like our work in the winter and the off season to get ready to come into the spring, that we had done a lot of things right. And so it's unfortunate for the team. It's unfortunate for the young ladies that put so much hard work into it. And now we just try to, hopefully we can get back at it in September and maybe kind of continue that momentum. We had one senior, Jolie Henderson. It remains to be seen whether she's going to be able to return to school to utilize that season that the NAIA gave her back. But we've got a strong core, and we've got 3 great young ladies coming in. So I'm hopeful that we're going to be able, when we get to go back, we're going to come back just as strong as when we were abruptly ended.
Coach, we've asked a lot of coaches around the department on what, if they could coach any other sport or any other team in athletics, what would they choose? And about 90% are gunning for your job. So the question is your job really that great, and why do you love it so much?
Well, I'll be honest. Thinking about that, we've had these conversations among coaches at different times, and I've heard the same thing. A lot of people really like golf. There's not really another sport that I would take over this one if I had this choice. The thing I love about it is I loved being a student athlete. I loved the competition. I loved the travel. I got to see places around the country that I'd never seen. Whether it was just the regular season tournaments or the national championship, you got to meet so many great people, and so I kind of get to live vicariously through the kids, because I still get to go to all the tournaments. I just don't have to physically perform, which is good these days, because I can't do it like I used to. But it is. It's a great job, and I'm glad to know lots of people envy me.
Let's touch on Piper for a minute. From Flower Mound, she's somewhat, that makes her somewhat local, I guess, or local. When did you first come across Piper, and kind of what led her to coming to Texas Wesleyan? And did you expect her to have such a breakout season as she had to the level that she had?
The I met Piper approximately a year before she started school here. She had reached out to me by email. I had not. She was not on my radar at that point, but we met up at the golf course and immediately had a rapport. I think she's a very interesting person. Has a lot of great personality, interests, and things like that. And so I knew that we were going to hit it off the bat. And I knew that she had the qualities that I was looking for as a player. And it didn't surprise me that she had the kind of year that she had. A lot of times freshmen, struggle, especially first semester or even the whole first year, just trying to adjust to college life and those kind of things. But she's done a really good job of that. She's got a great work ethic, and we just communicate well.
How jealous are you that the men won the title last year? And the women are still obviously incredible on the national scale, but they got it and you didn't.
I'm jealous is not the right word. Proud is the right word because I'm still very involved with the men's program,
Right.
and with the coaches, and the history of the program. I think that was their 7th national title in like 47 years, if I did my math correct, 46 years. So no, I was just I was thrilled that they were able to pull it off, and I know that our time is coming. I felt like with the way we were moving this year and the site where the national championship was this year, that we would have a good shot at maybe making a run. And I'm jealous is just not something I am. I'm proud of all of our sports. I love it when every sport wins. I root for all of them to do well. So it was a really proud moment to see Texas Wesleyan at the top of the leaderboard.
Did you feel like it helped the women this year seeing somebody else at Texas Wesleyan, the golf program, get that national championship? Do you feel like it did anything for them?
Oh, for sure, because they all know the guys on the team and they know their work ethic, and they spend a lot of time around them, and they share information between the two
Mm-hmm.
teams. So for sure, the fact that they get to see greatness every day in person, they got to see a team that achieved greatness. I think it really boosts their thoughts about that it's possible, and that they're capable.
Tell us how proud you are of Alexis Belton and what she's built as becoming a professional on the World Long Drive tour.
That's really cool. Yeah, we just found out last week that she got her own in Golf Digest, which is really cool. And of course, she's been on television, with the World Long Drive, and that was one of the things that I was encouraging her back when she was a player. I said, when you get done here, you've got to go try this. I said, you'll be a star, and it's just great. Again, Alexis is one of those players that she just worked so hard, not just on her game, but also on her image and her brand and those kind of things. And she's just such a dynamic personality, and it's just so much fun to watch her be successful and kind of grow into this phenomenon that she's become.
Yeah, regularly hitting over 330, 340.
Oh yeah, bombs it. And she was always long in college. So I knew if she just would just get out there and do it, she was going to be successful.
And it looks like she has a bright future ahead of her as well. What about Alex Shees? Alex Shees, 4-time conference player of the year, led your program and everything, has all the records to prove it. How big was she for the program just starting out?
Oh, it was a huge W for us to be able to recruit her and get her to stay here in her own backyard. She's from Mansfield, Walnut Creek Country Club, and Alex is just another one of those that in this game the secret is you gotta dig it out of the dirt. There's no shortcuts. You have to have the work ethic to go play and practice in all kinds of weather and all kinds of conditions, and you've got to have the mental fortitude to be successful in competition. And Alex has got all of those things, and I am fortunate enough to still be affiliated with her as her caddy during the, when we're outside of the season. I get to caddy for her in all the tournaments that I can, and we, again, it's just I think our rapport and being able to communicate has been our biggest advantage in that, and she's still playing professional golf and still trying to compete and still planning on going to qualifying school this year, and I'm hoping to be right there beside her on the bag when she makes it.
Awesome. We're pushing for her. Is she still coaching at UTA?
She is.
So with those two big recruiting candidates or recruiting student athletes that you've gotten, talk us through your recruiting process and how you evaluate talent and how you get those players to join the squad.
Well, I think one difference that I have found having coached men and now women is that men tend to make their decisions later. They tend to make the decision, later, either in their senior year or even in the summer after their senior year. And the women, I think the relationship between the player and coach is much more important. And so I try to identify potential candidates for the team when they're freshmen, sophomores in high school, and cultivate a relationship with them and make sure that it's a good fit. That, I keep bringing up communication, and I think that's so important, especially in the game of golf, because there's so much downtime. It's not a reactionary sport like basketball or something else where you're having to make decisions on the fly. You get a couple minutes between shots to make decisions, and so my recruiting strategy is to identify a handful of players early in their high school careers, and then just try to cultivate a relationship where they, by the time it's time for them to make a decision, they believe this is the right place for them, and that we're in it for the long haul. This is not just we'll try it for 1 year or something. When I recruit a player, it's with the idea that they're going to graduate from Texas Wesleyan and play their entire careers.
Coach, is there a shot by one of your players where you just thought, "Oh my gosh, that was just awesome"?
Okay, very first tournament, Alexis Belton. We were at the Golf Club of Dallas over in Oak Cliff, and this was the very first tournament that she was able to play. She had a knee injury early in the fall, and so she came in about midway through the fall semester. And we're on the second hole, and she had bombed a drive down there, and she had, I think, 186, I think, to the hole. And I said, I was standing next to her. I said, "Well, Alexis, what club do you think? I can't club her yet. I don't know how far she hits it. This is the first tournament, second hole of the first tournament." And she goes 186. I think it's a 6-iron. Now, if anybody that plays golf, a 6-iron in women's golf is not normally 186 yards. But I just looked at her and I nodded and I said, "Yeah, that's what I was thinking." just to give her confidence, just say, "Yeah, okay, I believe in you," and she actually hit it over the green.
Wow.
And it was at that point that I realized that she had a special talent. But there's so many great shots. I think of some of the shots that Alex hit to win golf tournaments. There's so many that are special.
Sure.
In your 23 years at Texas Wesleyan, it's obviously not been all spent on women's golf. You coached men's golf. You were an athletic director, I believe. At some time, you're associate athletic director now. What has changed the most about Texas Wesleyan, and what has stayed the same?
Wow, that's I think what I would say is the physical campus is something that has changed the most. When I first came to Texas Wesleyan, it was in the early to mid '90s, and the neighborhood was more depressed. There wasn't as much physical infrastructure on the campus. We built some fantastic buildings, from the science building to the Morton, to the new student center, to revamping the gym and renovating some of the other facilities. So I just think the physical structure, back then we didn't even have internet.
Wow.
I remember I brought my own computer from home when I was the assistant coach in '97. I brought an old computer. I had an older one that I brought up there, and it wasn't even connected to the internet. It was just so I could do word processing, so I didn't have to re-type every document that I needed, to do.
Wow.
So it's just the physical changes to the campus over all that period of time. The second part of the question was what's changed the least. I would say the personal aspect and the relationships between people on campus. I think of people like Joe Brown, who's been there since when I first got there, and was there actually before I got there, and guys like Bobby Cornett that create this sense of community, a sense of family. And the small class sizes. We've always had small class sizes, and a lot of personal communication between staff and faculty and administration. So I think that's probably what's changed the least.
Coach, one of the best things about the golf program, about its national presence in the NAIA and its national dominance in the NAIA, is all these big tournaments that y'all travel to, all these different courses that you get to play. It might not be in the regular rotation, but what's a place that you've been to over the last handful of years where you say, "Wow, this is a great place to play some golf"?
Puerto Rico. Love that place. I had never been to Puerto Rico before we played in the tournament down there in 2014. Unfortunately, then Maria hit, and the island was devastated, and we weren't able to play the tournament that year. And we've been back ever since. And in fact, now the coach that was hosting the tournament has actually turned it over to me. I had expressed interest in being the host of that event. It's the people of Puerto Rico are amazing. They're just, and it's not just at the resort, where they're paid to be friendly. It's everywhere you go. They're just they're great people, and I just love the island life. If I could live, in a place like that and make a living, I would do it.
What other countries have you traveled to? Have you been anywhere else outside the U.S.?
The only other places I've been are Mexico, England, and Sweden.
Only.
And well, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. I did have the opportunity to go to Sweden last summer to visit a former exchange student that lived with us back in 2016, and I love it over there in the summertime. I do not want to be there in the winter. I'm not a cold weather person, and not only is it cold, but the sun only comes up for a couple of hours each day. During the summer, when it goes down, it never gets darker than dusk. So it always, it goes down about 10:30, 11 o'clock, comes back up at 3 or 4, and it doesn't really get dark. So summertime is great. Golf courses are great. It's a really neat community over there. The way they live, very outdoor style.
What frustrates you most as a coach? What's your pet peeve?
Being late.
Good to know.
Yeah, I like punctuality, and I'm not the best at it. So it's a pet peeve of mine as well. Occasionally I'm running late, but no, I think when you set a time that you're going to meet somebody or meet as a team or whatever, that's really important. It shows your commitment to the people that you're meeting up with. Yeah. Punctuality.
What do you see as the best and worst aspects of operating in the NAI? And I know you have a lot of experience with getting kids eligible. That's your AD role, but as a coach and maybe as an AD, talk about the best and worst things about the NAI.
Well, I've actually, because we were in the NCAA early in my career, we went Division II for a number of years, I think 4 years total, in the late 90s, early 2000s. I think one of the things about the NAI is it's very membership driven. And what I mean by that is when schools or conferences, athletic directors, presidents, when they see an initiative that they think would work in the NAI is very open to a kind of ground up administrative style. And so when you want to, when you see something where you can make positive changes, they're quick to react to that. And I didn't get that feeling in the NCAA. It was very top down driven. They told you what you were doing, and even if you had good ideas, they weren't as open to hearing them. I like the fact in the NAI that we don't have dead periods, like where you can't contact students. It's more organic, back when we were in the NCAA, I thought that was a good direction to go. But now having been back to the NAIA, I'm a big fan, and I hope to see it, thrive in the years to come.
What's your favorite memory from your playing days?
My favorite memory, I can remember the first time we won a golf tournament. I had not come from a golf team that was a perennial champion, and I remember, I think we were in Abilene, if I remember correctly, and we're sitting there watching the scores, and they put it up, and we had won the tournament, and I looked at one of our players, one of the guys on the team with me, and I said, "We just won," and he said, "Shut up." I said, "No, shut up." I mean, it was such a cool moment, because winning a golf tournament as an individual, it's not easy, but it's easier than winning as a team, because you've got to have all your players clicking on the same, on the same day, on the same week, and so I think that taste of winning made it so much more fun. And to this day, if you ask the team, the girls, whenever we win a golf tournament, it's a fun ride home.
I'm glad you brought that up about being more difficult winning as a team. Looking through golf results as an SID, you start to see, well, your number one doesn't always play like a number one. Sometimes your number five plays like a number one, and your number one plays like a number three. And to get all of that together through 3 rounds, 2 rounds, however many rounds it is incredibly difficult.
Yeah, and in golf, we always make this analogy. In baseball, if you get a hit once every 3 times at the plate, you're going to be an all-star. In golf, if you miss one shot, it can derail your entire tournament. And so it's just, you have to be so on. And as I say, that feeling of having 5 players come together and do something on a particular week, is just, I've always said it's like, winning as an individual is like building a bicycle, and winning as a team is like building a NASCAR.
That's a good analogy.
Do you ever wonder why there's not more team golf, given that fact?
It's funny, because there are some, of course you've got at the highest cup, you got the highest level, you got the Solheim Cup, the Ryder Cup, President's Cup, those types of things. At the state and national level, there's a lot of team, like the Texas Golf Association has some team events and things like that. But and then at the local club level, a lot of clubs will play. They'll put a team together and play against another club across town or something like that. So it's out there. It's just not at the highest level, except very infrequently, like the Ryder Cup or Solheim Cup.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of fun.
You mentioned that that you're not a cold weather guy.
Yes.
Obviously, the warmer weather is very conducive to golf. But if you weren't playing golf and you were outside, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't playing golf,
Yes.
man, I love. We've got a place out in East Texas, and I love being out in the woods. I love stomping along in the creek with the dogs. I like fishing. Um, I love to be out. I just love to be outside and in nature, specifically away from the city life.
What's a moment in which you know would describe that you really love being a golf coach? What is it outside of the game of golf that you love the most about coaching up student athletes and helping them get through college and get a degree and off into regular life?
I love that part of it. I love helping kids if they, let's say they for some reason lose their eligibility. They're not eligible. One of my roles as associate athletic director is to do all of the compliance and eligibility for every student athlete, for every team: football, golf, baseball, every single team. I think this last year I did eligibility for over 500 student athletes.
Wow.
I love being able to help somebody get back on track. We don't all the right move the first time, and sometimes we stumble, and and in a lot of ways that's autobiographical because I kind of had that same. I took a little sabbatical from college in the mid '90s, and golf was what got me back. The fact that you had to remain eligible, you had to remain doing your classes and making the grades in order to be eligible to play. And so being able to help other student athletes do that is a big part of why I love my job. The other part of it is just getting to see how they develop once they're out of school. The aspect of 5, 10, 15 years down the road, what are you doing for a career? What are you doing, in your family life? Those kind of things. It's just the relationships that you build over those 4 or 5 years while they're a student, and how they carry on into the future.
What kind of dogs do you have? Do you have any other pets? You mentioned splashing around with them in the creek.
Okay, so I've got a 2-year-old lab named Penelope Rose, chocolate lab. I have a 6-month-old black lab named Jasmine Rue. I'm sure you can tell that I am the one that named both of those dogs. You can thank my wife Kelly and my 12-year-old daughter Kennedy for that. But they're both great dogs. Love labs. We've also got a couple of cats. We've got Stanley and Ivy. We've got a turtle, a box turtle. We have 6 hermit crabs. And then all the various wildlife. I'm watching the squirrels here in my front yard. And we even had a raccoon at one point that I could hand feed. I hadn't seen him in a while, but he used to come up on the porch and I could feed him by hand.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
there's a lot of we regularly have raccoons and possums on the property, and we're actually very pro raccoon and possum. They don't mess a lot of our stuff up, and they eat all the big water bugs. So they kind of keep some of the pests away.
Right. You mentioned your wife Kelly. We've asked this question to some of our coaches. Fill in the blank. Your partner is much more blank than you are.
Entrepreneurial. She's got her hand in a lot of different things. She's not only just business wise, but in the community as a volunteer and those kind of things. She is. I'm the kind of guy that when I get on a project, it's that project, and I'm singularly focused. She is very widely focused on a lot of different projects and very good at what she does. Very similar to what her job is as a construction manager. She's got a lot of balls in the air.
Very cool. So you're quarantined with 3 other Texas Wesleyan faculty or staff. This is a good question for you. You're a longtime Texas Wesleyan alum and employee. You're quarantined with 3 other Texas Wesleyan faculty or staff members. Who are they?
Oh wow, 3 others. Well, number one, I gotta go with Bobby Cornett. I've got the longest relationship with him. We have a great time together. I'm also a big fan of Sean Hensley. Sean and I like to play golf together, play darts, and we typically just we've got a great relationship. Um, and if I can only pick, oh man, it's tough. Only one?
Just three.
I know, but one more. I think I'm gonna make somebody mad if I pick a third one. I'm just gonna stick with those two.
Okay, all right.
There's a lot of honorable mentions. Ricky Dodson, Brennan Shingleton, Josh Gibbs. There's a lot of. We would have at least two foursomes.
Well, Josh Gibbs showing up in a lot of other people's quarantine houses, so
Yeah,
he's
I
a
think
popular
I think,
dude.
I think we would have to have we just would not practice social distancing. We would just have a big.
All right, Coach, you have an in-home chef for one day. What are you requesting for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
An in-home chef.
Ah, wouldn't that be nice?
Okay. For breakfast, I want breakfast tacos. Like and it doesn't matter. It could be egg or brisket, or it doesn't make any difference. With some fried potatoes and some borracho beans. Lunch is going to be a really good chicken salad. I don't mean not like tuna salad. I'm talking about like just a salad, a leafy green salad, but with some chicken and some nuts and strawberries and some good some type of vinaigrette dressing. Like one of those bougie salads. And then for dinner, it's going to be barbecue.
Ah,
Yeah, I'd like some good barbecue, and I don't discriminate. I like brisket, ribs, pork. It doesn't make any difference to me. Some potato salad and a little cobbler and ice cream.
when we get off here, I'm definitely gonna go buy some barbecue. I'm getting hungry.
Absolutely.
Okay, you
I'm
mentioned
thinking the Big Texan at Jambo's. If you've never been to Jambo's, I'm going to plug them right here.
Yeah.
They've got Jambo's Barbecue. It's in Arlington, and they've got this plate called the Big Texan. It's about this tall, and it's 5 different types of meat layered between 2 pieces of Texas toast. And
wow.
I like to, in quarantine. In fact, I think I'm going to do this in the next day or so. I'm going to get one because I can eat on it for about 2 or 3 days.
Awesome. I'll go check them out.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, we talked about you not liking to be on Netflix so much during quarantine, but if you only had one show to binge watch for the rest of your life, which show would it be? Show or movie?
I only get to watch one. I'm a big fan of Ray Donovan. That's a big one. That's a good one. And I was, and just because I would get more seasons, I think I would go with Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
There you go. You compared 2 of those shows.
I need something with a lot of episodes, but I'm not like a Friends guy. So
yeah,
I
get you.
Or one of the
all right, Coach.
Or one of the National Geographics. I like. I'm really digging. I've got it DVR'd. I've got Neil deGrasse Tyson's Cosmos, and those. Even if you go back to the Carl Sagan ones, and I think that would be pretty neat.
Yeah, those have definitely been on the TV, especially having young kids in the house. You don't want to watch Jason Bourne and all the action flicks all the time, so we put on the National.
If I only had one movie, it's going to be Pulp Fiction. But you're right.
All right, Coach. How can recruits reach out to you? Are you on social media at all?
I'm not really active. I'm a social media voyeur. I read a lot of Twitter, get a lot of stuff like that. But I'm not really active on Facebook. I don't post, and I don't think the kids post on Facebook anyway. So the kids are all on Snap and TikTok and those kind of things. And I don't do a whole lot of that stuff. So I'm kind of still old school. I prefer text over voice and email. But I do both. And certainly, my favorite thing to do is to get person to person and really get to be with them one-on-one and talk in person. But yeah, I'm pretty active with texting and email, not as much.
Sounds good. And you can find Coach's email and other information on ramsports.net. If you go to women's golf and coaching staff, you can see his information there. Coach, it's been great talking to you today. We appreciate you coming on with us.
Hey, absolutely. I'm. It's good. It's really good to see you guys.
Yeah.
Like literally see you guys.
Hopefully we can see each other in person come this fall and get back to the grind. But anyway, thank you for joining us. We hope you have a good day.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Y'all
Hey,
stay
Coach,
safe.
thank you.
All
All
right.
right, this has been another edition of ramsports.net Ram Talk, Ram Nation. We'll see you later.